Thank you so much, Mr. Williams, for the kind introduction. Also, thank you to the UCC Media Justice Ministry for this honor. Thank you to Cheryl Leanza specifically for all of her advocacy over the years and for always being there for me when I needed to understand the history of a policy issue that isn't always obvious from reading the press or poring over the FCC docket, and for always making sure that people, no matter how new that they are to this space, always have an opportunity to contribute. I'm truly honored to be standing before you today, especially among fellow honorees, including Senator Duckworth and Chair Rosenworcel. Thank you both for your continued service. So let me begin by saying that I, like most people in this country, come from a family of unsung heroes who have not always had the privilege of hearing or feeling people honor them, because oftentimes we wait to honor people after they have left this earth, not always realizing or acknowledging in real time all the life lessons that they taught us or sacrifices they made for us to be in the positions that we are right now. So I want to take the time to thank my parents, Edward and Odessa Valentin, who are streaming from Tifton, Georgia right now. And also my brother, Dr. Eddie Valentin Jr., who's here with us today, who have heard more about tech and telecom policy than they probably would have ever liked to hear. And at this time, they have a lot of thoughts and opinions about what a robust digital discrimination rule should look like and how best to protect the data of consumers on online platforms. But thank you to my mom for all of the times that she practiced spelling words with me and drove me to and from student council meetings and drama classes, and who also told me that she wasn't gonna go get any new crayons at 8 o'clock at night just because I wanted to enter a coloring contest when we had crayons at the house. And to my brother, who taught me the love of creative writing when he would read me his short stories as a kid that were about 75 college-ruled pages long, front and back, and were not short at all. And finally, thank you to my dad, who told me to get back onto the field after I ran to the sidelines crying after a boy tackled me in a co-ed flag football game in second grade. But I'm sure that's one of the many reasons why I'm always willing to fight when I've been knocked down. Now, I'm here today because of them, but also because of many of the people here in this room. And I'm forever grateful for the way that this community has poured into me over the years. You know, I was an intern in FCC Commissioner Clyburn's office about 7 years ago, which makes me sound young, but I was a third-year PhD student at that time, so there's that. But one of the first things that Commissioner Clyburn said to our intern class, and I'm paraphrasing here, people are always going to have something to say. And what you need to get comfortable with is knowing that when you lay your head down on your pillow at night, that you have done everything you can to move the ball forward in the best way that you can under those specific circumstances. Again, people are always going to have something to say. And as I've gone throughout my career, I have learned that is oh so very true. And listen, you're not always going to make everyone happy, and you can't be everything to everyone all at the same time. But what you can do is to be true to yourself and to your values. And what you can also do is to not only bring yourself into the room, but look over to your neighbor and say, I'm going to bring them too. What we can't afford, however, is to be advocates or policymakers that are more concerned about what helps the few over the many. We can't be those who are hesitant to stand up to entities who seemingly have more power just because they have more money. We can't be unwilling to work with the other side because that could result in a fruitful relationship. See, to a lot of us in this room, policy isn't just a job. It's personal. At least I know it is for me. We're carrying every community that doesn't have the same access and the same privileges as us into that room. And it's a responsibility that we don't take lightly. But the more people that we have in the hallowed halls of Congress, the White House, the FCC, FTC, corporations, and civil society that look like me, that responsibility will then feel less like a boulder that we're trying to move uphill alone. And that's why I implore all of us to not only ask who is in the room, but also ask who is missing. Because those missing and strategically marginalized voices have value. The fact of the matter is, those that we count out from South Georgia, from Detroit, from those living in border towns and tribal lands are the definitions of people who are creative and resilient and people who know how to get things done. Why? Because our lives depend on it. You see, technology and telecommunications policy intersect with one's ability to dream. And the decisions that we make today, and I hope I don't have to file an ex parte when I say this, the decisions that we make today about having continued funding for the Affordable Connectivity Program, establishing an Office of Civil Rights at the FCC and FTC, including diversity, equity, and inclusion merger guidelines published by the FTC and DOJ, ensuring that civil rights and privacy are centered in artificial intelligence legislation, and also having a meaningful and impactful digital discrimination rule are policies and practices that can empower one's ability to dream. And that, in turn, impacts the economic, political, and social fabric of this country for the better and for the benefit of all. Because I only know I have 5 minutes, so I want to go ahead and wrap up here. And I don't want to be that person by being too long. We can only be the best advocates that we can be if we take the time to rest. So if you don't answer my emails or phone calls within a few hours, trust me when I say that I am so okay with that. Because at the end of the day, this system wants to exhaust us to the point where we aren't able to fight, where we aren't able to think clearly, where we aren't able to present new ideas. And I refuse to let that system of oppression that I'm constantly fighting against have me. So as Tricia Hersey, who calls herself the NAP Bishop, says, rest is resistance. Thank you so much.